Hey everybody, and welcome to the Inferno Cast special Thanksgiving edition, which is episode 065. I am Fox, host of this podcast and of YouTube's Inferno Fox Gaming channel. And at Inferno Fox Gaming, we've got content regarding RPGs, Nintendo, retro gaming, and more. Joining us on this holiday feast is our fantastic cast and crew. We have the Astrimedes, developer and co-owner of Second Place Games. Astrimedes, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here, going down memory lane with you guys.
Absolutely. Speaking of memory lane, we've got Jason the 13th.
Hmm.
He is the YouTube channel of Jason the 13th, the host of a lot of good memories there, and maybe that's all there is, just memories. Are we going to be getting some new videos to have some new memories sometime soon?
Yeah, I need to set some time aside to make some new videos. It's been a while now, so maybe I can find some time this weekend since I got a nice long weekend.
Yes, that would be great. Yeah, I know. I just figured out my capture card for my Switch after not being able to get it to work for 6 months. So I've
Oh,
had to like jury rig the stupid 30-second clips that you can do and pulling big pain in the butt. So hopefully your issues aren't as bad as mine. We can get you doing some capturing.
yes.
And speaking of capturing, I caught quite the catch with Jamie Owls 87, my partner and partner in crime. Jamie Owls, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I almost forgot what day it was. We're in that weird week where we don't know what day it is, but I know it's the holiday week, so I think everyone's kind of messed up. Plus, I have a longer weekend because I took some vacation time. So, yeah, I don't know what day it is, and I don't think I'm going to the next month.
Nice. No, hey, that's what makes the holidays so grand. And I'm not gonna use that as a segue. Stormrosesky, the host of Twitch and YouTube channels of Stormrosesky, Storm. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you for not saying grandma, because God, no, that will never happen in my lifetime.
I was
I
actually
will, I
I was
will be
actually
a
thinking of like
grandparent.
because if we said grand or something, I was thinking of the 100 grand bars for some reason. I have no idea why. I'm like, how can I segue that to Storm? I have no idea.
I don't know either. I don't know. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. I am now off for the next 5 days. Today was our last day of school, so yay.
Nice.
Excellent.
I'm glad to have the break for sure. Because, children, gotta love them, but man, I'm glad for the break.
I hear you there. Also joining us is the venerable Simbu Darkfang. He is the host of live streaming video games gameplay on the Scurry Face channel on Twitch. Link to that in the description below. So make sure you check out his live broadcasts of WWE 2K24 Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. And he brings high energy announcing content to his live streams. And again, and just a special shout out again to Simbu. He and his various co-announcer or announcers and everything did an excellent job of pivoting to a little bit of some technical difficulties. You wouldn't know it because he handled it with great aplomb. So my kudos to you, Simbu. You did a fantastic job, and the matches and everything were phenomenal. Simbu Darkfang, thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Hi.
And also, thank you for, last but not least, Hillbilly Hardicus. He is a good friend and resident hill slut. Hardicus, thank you for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me as always. Appreciate it.
So before we get into our main Thanksgiving feast, we're going to be doing our first course, and that is what game or games are you currently playing right now? What are you playing? For me, I am not only playing Dragon Quest III HD 2D, fantastic game, but I've also fallen down the Balatro hole, and I don't see myself coming out of it. Just hours and hours of addictive, like poker-like and solitaire gameplay. Ton of fun. It kind of not what I was expecting, but in a good way. Almost reminds me of like those Facebook games that were like really big in like the aughts and everything, just like how small it was, but like that sort of addictive nature. Nice thing is you when you pay for the game once, that's it. No microtransaction or any crap like that. So I get why Balatro was nominated for like best indie game. I think also best debut indie game or something like that for the Game Awards. I still don't know why it was uh nominated for the game of the year, although they have to have a some sort of indie to like break things up. I get that, but Game Awards, that's next week's podcast. We're going to be talking about that and doing our own predictions. But got to ask, Hardicus, what games are you playing right now?
On top of the normal World of Warcraft that I play, I just started playing Sea of Stars after all of you raved about it. So I just started that the other day. I'm only a couple hours into it, but so far it's pretty good.
Nice, excellent. I'm going to be really curious as to what you think when you get like dozens, a dozen or 2 hours into that.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know what I think of it when I'm getting either finish it or halfway through or something like that.
Cool. And Simbu, besides WWE 2K24, what else are you currently playing?
Well, there's a bit of a laundry list here at this point. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, um, Funko Fusion. I recently picked Hawk back up. Um, been playing around with that a little bit. Yeah, Disney Speedstorm. Recently picked up Phasmophobia.
Oh,
Haven't really
nice.
cracked into that game yet. Waiting for good amount of people to want to team up and play it because I've seen it played by yourself and it's not fun. So, but for $20, I was like, screw it, I'll gamble on that one. Uh, yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's a bit of a list. So,
Nice. Yeah, I jumped onto Phasmophobia about a year and a half, 2 years ago when it was on Steam, and I kind of same experience. I couldn't get into it because, I was just me by myself. So maybe if there's some sort of sale, maybe that's something that I should jump into. Maybe we rope in Storm and Jason on that.
well, it is cross-platform.
Oh, nice. So I could
So
go to
if
Steam Deck and play that.
right, correct, it is full cross-platform support.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep. You had my attention. Now you got my curiosity, or maybe I got that backwards. I might have to pull the trigger on that. Storm, how about you? What are you currently playing?
Right now, besides the Standby Fortnite, it has been the Dark Pictures anthology. I'm still not done with it, and I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'm going to complete it. I'm at that point where like, meh, if I finish you, I finish you. I don't. I don't. I did try a demo of the the Epic Mickey rebrush because I've never even played the original. So I tried a little bit of the demo, and that is now in my wish list. So of things to get. I just got How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's Christmas Adventures for the PlayStation 5, so I'll probably be playing that this week. And so, oh, wait, Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. I did buy those for the PlayStation. They were $1.99 each, so there was no way in the world I was going to pass those up. So I've been playing Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man.
Nice. And side note, I actually, well, as we are talking, I am adding the rebrushed demo to the PlayStation 5 library so that Jamie Owls can try that.
Yay. I
It's a
played the original before. It was a lot of fun, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good I think 2 hour demo or something. I played it
Oh
for
wow.
about 8 minutes, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna add this to my wish list to buy it because that 2 hours is gonna go by, and I'm gonna want to finish it. So,
Funny, the demo had the opposite effect on me.
So it
Played
sort
it
of
for
killed your interest.
no, no. I don't know. I played the original Mickey. I played the original game. I don't know. Didn't have the same magic as the first time.
That's fair. So it'll be interesting to see how like Jamie Owls, you also had the experience of playing it before. I'm going to be curious as to how uh
Hmm.
yours is because you've got that on your Christmas list, and maybe Santa Claus might give that to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not worried about playing the demo because like I said, I played the original, so I'll wait until I get it for Christmas, hopefully. The Santa pause would be nice.
well, you got the demo downloading for you anyway, so deal with it.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Speaking of which, Jamie Owls, what are you currently playing right now?
Um, Currently I'm playing more on my Switch. I'm playing Mario Wonder and a little bit of Dreamlight Valley in between. I'm taking a little break from and playing any PlayStation games because someone is going to be playing on it a lot more.
Has
I won't
been.
mention who. Might be obvious. Yeah, I know in the last video that we made, I mentioned about playing Uncharted. Eventually I'll get back into that. I kind of want to take a break of PlayStation and take advantage more of my Switch, but I also don't like to force myself to play anything when I'm not in the mood, so I'll just give myself a break until that spark comes back.
Yeah, that's cool. That totally makes sense. And it's funny because now I'm playing just PlayStation games again.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of Switch on the handheld with Balatro, but yeah, just it's been like PS5 since what, October?
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason, what are you still playing Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom, or what else?
I am, but as we said last week, I've been playing Echoes of Wisdom, of course, and I got back into Tears of Kingdom. But on the other side, I have started up Resident Evil 7. I'm not very far into it yet, but I did start it, so we got that. And here and there, just playing the couple little things with my nephew, of course, like a little bit of Minecraft still, a little bit of Fortnite, and a little bit of multiverses again, as we talked about last week. So, but yep, the Tears of Kingdom and Echoes are the main ones I'm trying to focus on right now.
Very cool. Can't go wrong with the Zelda games.
Yep, need to get
And
back into them and like finish them.
yes. Astrimedes, how about you? What games are you currently playing?
So along with kind of regular Darkest Dungeon 2, I seem to keep coming back to and has like a big DLC update coming out soon that I'm excited for. I picked up World of Horror for the first time in a little while. World of Horror, I think it was this year, the full version, 1.0 version came out. I played it a good amount early access, and then a bit more after it released. I'd beaten kind of like the regular mode one time, but I came back to it and played like an endless mode, kind of focused more on like the combat and doing a different build, whatever. And the game has sort of like an awkward, clunky combat system, but I feel like I kind of like mastered the combat system in a way I hadn't before. And then I unlocked kind of like additional little scenarios and stuff like that. So it maybe has effectively drawn me back in for at least a little while. It's kind of like a content-based game, so I don't think I'll play it like forever because a lot of the fun is just seeing the little mysteries and really like cool, creepy art for the first time when you haven't seen it before and that kind of stuff. But something kind of new I've been doing is Me, my wife have been playing Tetris 1 on the NES two-player lately.
Ah,
Because she loves Game Boy Tetris, and that's like the closest I have to that on hand. So we played that, and she is satisfied with how old school it is. Because we're playing two-player competitive, because she can't stand sharing the screen with me because I suck compared to her. It basically means that I mostly kind of wait for her to finish her turn after I inevitably lose faster than her, despite whatever handicap difference setting we change or anything like that. So that's been fun. I'm always kind of trying to drag her into playing games, which is why I made sure I had access to NES hardware and stuff a while ago, because she only likes the old stuff. So figure, here you go. It's the old stuff, so I can make her play it more effectively.
So when you say the Tetris one on the NES, is that the Tengen one? Because the Tengen one's the one that has the two-player mode.
It must be then, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's so funny because like the Nintendo version of Tetris is only one player for whatever reason. The Game Boy one is two player, but the link cable. But like, hey, let's put it on the NES and only have one player on that.
Yep. Very, very weird. Like I was telling my wife how strange the whole Tetris licensing system is, and considering buying that Tetris kind of documentary slash game thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that gets a physical. Speaking of physical, I splurged on myself for some Black Friday details and got myself a physical copy of Inscription for the Switch.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I remember the one time like a while ago. I think even you and Hardicus were talking about that game, and it's like, oh, for whatever reason, I saw that was on sale today, and I'm like, I should probably try and snag that. For some reason, it's a little pricey, and I got it at a really good sale.
Cool. Does it? Yeah, because I know it probably has like kind of a lot of weird little pack-in stuff with the physical edition, I'm guessing, right? Or at least a few interesting things.
That's what it was looking like. Even the physical of Balatro that I got has like actual physical cards in the case, which was honestly kind of neat. So I think Inscription was the same way. I'd have to double check.
Yeah, I know Inscription has like some, and this isn't spoiling anything. You see it literally immediately, but there's some kind of like implied ARG kind of stuff going on. So I'm curious what they'd sort of throw in there, kind of link to this real world story thing. So,
Very cool. We're going to jump into our main topic, and that is the games that divide us. And it's timely with, again, Thanksgiving right around the corner as of the recording of this, because these contentious video games can start arguments or fights. Because what's a Thanksgiving dinner without that crazy uncle or aunt causing such an argument? And with video games, from being 8 years old and yelling at your older siblings to get a turn on the Nintendo, to being 38 years old and arguing with your buddies on who should lead the raid into the bunker while your wife or partner yells at you IRL to get off the Xbox and finally finish cleaning the bathroom. It's all here today. Each of us will talk about a couple examples of games that started fights or arguments, as well as like our own like in life examples. Though again, for anonymity's sakes, we're not going to mention specific names or handles. Although again, maybe we might say the handles because it's fun, and we're not going to actually say the names. And I have a feeling we're going to have some similar single handles here. We're going to have a few shared experiences. In regards to the order, we're going to go we're going to go through in the amount of distance the planet Earth was from the sun the moment each of us was born, subtracted by the circumference of the moon's projected shadow based on the phase when we graduated junior high. Nah, we're going to go in the order that I met each of you, from the earliest to the latest in life. Order that I met each of you. And since I met myself first, I'll go first. So my games that start arguments is actually like the games itself. I sort of alluded to this earlier in the introduction. And that's going to be the arguments that I had with my older brothers to play the NES, the old school Nintendo Entertainment System. And it's subsided somewhat when we got the SNES as we were older. And my brothers would tell me they prefer to focus on getting girls than playing video games. But I remember it was constantly, oh, I want to play the NES. Well, when I'm one of three of siblings or three brothers that want to play, and at most games are two-player, yeah, you kind of have to be on the sideline. So that kind of stinks.
I know
Uh,
exactly how you feel.
but you are the second oldest, so technically you've got a little brother who should have always been on the sidelines. But I have a feeling that with you being the least vocal of you and your brothers, that you were the one that was put on the sidelines.
That is true, but my dad played video games just as much as us, so there was four of us that were fighting for the systems.
Nice. A bonus thing here. There was an argument that I had the year after we got the SNES. So I think it was like 92 or 93. I remember I wanted to keep the console in the living room, but my older brother preferred it in his room. And I generally, I know Storm's probably going to laugh at this because she's heard stories from her husband slash my oldest brother, but I generally was a pretty quiet kid growing up, didn't really like put up too much of a fuss. And Storm, I know you got yourself muted and you're laughing, but um, for this particular instance, I put my foot down and I played the youngest slash brattiest kid card to get my way to keep the Super Nintendo in the living room. Uh, but I remember later I felt kind of bad about that because my older brother, he always ended up just staying in his room. I mean, he pretty much always did. And one of the big reasons I wanted to keep the Super Nintendo in the living room was that I had always had memories of playing the games with my older brothers. And my thought was, okay, if we keep it in the living room, everybody's going to want to convene and stay in the living room so that we could all play games together. Yeah, growing up and, it doesn't really work quite that way that well. So yeah, I heard a noise, Storm.
Yeah, no. You would have lost it, so good idea keeping it in the living room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so much, I don't know. Carry on.
Yes, I'm assuming you mean carry on, like carry on the conversation. I don't think you mean
Yes.
carry on like the
No,
husk of a
no,
corpse.
no, no,
Okay.
not yet. Not yet, at least.
Let's move on to the next person that I've known the from again earliest to latest, and we are going to go to Jason the 13th because I've known Jason since I was 6. Jason the 13th, what is your first contentious game slash experience?
All right, so my first one that I can think of, and it's kind of funny because you don't normally think of it as causing fights, especially when we're older. I'm going to go with Contra.
Oh,
Because you have different speeds as to how fast you can get through a game. You usually had somebody running through the levels super fast and killing you over and over and over because you couldn't keep up with them. It's whether me or my brothers did that to my younger brother, or it happened to me. Yeah, that one caused a little few issues in that. Yep, yelling at them to slow down, stop, because you can't keep up, and they keep killing you, and then they're yelling at you that you're dying too much, and yeah, Contra. As fun as the game was, it was definitely started a few little arguments there.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Oh man, yeah, because you're like if you progress too quickly, especially like on the third level when it's vertical.
Yes, and you're going up the level. Yeah.
Oh man. Let's move on to the next individual that I've known the earliest to latest, and that would be Storm, whom I've known since I was 12. So
Yep.
Storm, next year marks 30 years that I will have known you. So yay for that. Um,
Yay. Yeah, holy shit. It has
yeah.
been 30 years. Wow.
What,
Hey,
what,
Inferno likes to remind us all that we get older and older with
I
every
know.
anniversary that
I
comes
know.
out.
I think video idea is that what we're gonna do is you and I, Storm, we're gonna be playing on the NSO, and we'll do like Tetris Attack and other games we played on the Super Nintendo together, and just shoot the shit while we're doing these games. I think that'll be a fun video idea that we'll end up doing.
I think so. We should do that for sure. Oh, one of the games that have started the most amount of fights has been Animal Crossing. No joke. When it first came out and before Treasure Islands were a thing, getting anyone to visit your island, you had to set up rules because, if people ran through your flowers or like shook your money trees and would take off with your
Yes.
money, and getting people to close their damn phones in game so you could move because
Oh my God, yeah.
talking to the bird, and if you talk to the dodo and then it asks you 3,000 questions, are you sure you want to fly? Yes, you want to fly. And if somebody is on the island you want to visit and they have their phones open or their little any kind of menu within the game open, it keeps interrupting them and it will give you, "Whoa, you're blah blah blah, I can't fly because somebody forgot to close their phone." Da 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 da. So there's been a lot of little drama over those things, like closing your phones, don't leave it, not leaving islands, using the minus button on your Switch. With Treasure Islands, it's real picky. If you knock, that could potentially knock someone else off of the island with you, and none of their pocket has saved, and they would have to go back to that treasure island. It used to be a mess. It's not as messy now, I think, since I don't know. It's still popular, but it seemed to have died off, and people finally get it and have learned that if you have people over to your island, you have to rope off certain areas. If you don't want them to go in areas, you have to do work to your island to keep them off of things. It's just, it was stupid, like stupid little drama over it and just being courteous to other game players. But yeah, it was a hot mess in some Facebook groups there for a bit.
God, that sucks. And
Yep.
of course, it's Nintendo. They pretty much put the onus or ownership of behavior and everything, and just really the ownership of a lot of things just on the player. So I think it would have been better if they had an option to remedy all of that. I guess it doesn't matter now. They're working on the next Animal Crossing, but man, that sucks.
Yep.
Ugh.
Maybe, hopefully, for the next edition or edition of Animal Crossing, they'll have figured all that stuff out. But I'm at now going to be the 2 week mark pretty soon of not touching the game, so I'm not missing it as much as I thought I would.
Excellent.
Cockroaches.
Nope, nope. I turned that off. So the
Simbu wasn't
beautification
here
is
last week.
nope. I know he would have if he. I don't know if he listened. I listen to you guys when I'm not here, so yeah, I've got the beautification turned on, so it makes your island like it will grow less weed, grow a little less weeds, and help water your flowers. But I've got my flowers all fenced off so that they don't like totally take over the island, and it gets rid of the roaches, so I don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to ask my dear husband to run a backup of the games for me because I haven't done a backup, but I just don't want to turn them on. And then, yeah, so I can use the Switch for other things and not worry about Animal Crossing. I'm gonna have to do some hiding of the cartridges for real. So whatever you got to do to make the insanity stop or something, I don't know.
Yeah, hey.
Carry on.
We need to get you into Stardew Valley if you want to fall into the whole harvesting or Animal Crossing or town type thing. Stardew.
I'm
Oh, sorry.
I'm a
Dreamlight Valley?
little yeah, I'm a little good right now. The one I would consider is Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, be careful because Stardew Valley is a hole that's even bigger than what Animal Crossing is, if that's possible, and then
Yeah.
some.
And no, I just don't want something I have to take care of daily anymore like that.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe don't play something that makes you check in on it every day. Sounds like a good choice.
yeah, yeah.
So let's move on to the next person that I've known the longest. And this person I've known since I was, I think, 17. Simbu, what is your game and or contentious experience with said game?
This podcast. No. um, you know, Fox started off with the IRL arguments over playing the system. Well, let's jump forward from the NES to the N64. And everybody should already know what game I'm talking about. It has 3 numbers, and the eye is gold. Not only am I talking about 007 GoldenEye, but I'm also talking about Halo. I'm talking about Call of Duty. I am talking about any multiplayer game in which you had 4 separate screens or 2 or 3 screens on the same TV at once. Of course, I'm talking about something that some of our younger viewers may not know, and that is called screen watching. Those of us
Oh,
who
that's
were
so
part of
good.
all of those of us who were part of the legendary Fox and Mobster Halo Nights, know that there was a lot of accusations flying consistently by usually by 1 or 2 people in particular, which I guess I'll just I'll keep with the spirit and not say it. But those of us who were there know the 2 individuals.
You mean
What's your
Bob and Sam and all of them?
say those of us who were there
Frodo,
know
Merry,
the
Pippin.
Yeah.
Damn
go
hobbits.
Mr. Frodo. Those of us who were there, we all remember the 2 that
That's
were
such a good one.
consistently blaming screen watching. But again, my whole thing is, and the counter argument to this whole thing is that if you have played Halo, the original, somebody pulls out a rocket launcher, somebody pulls out the energy sword, it's hard not to peripheral
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
look, because all of a sudden your screen is now taken up by the screen is taken by this massive rocket launcher, or shing, and all of a sudden there's this big blue glow coming from somewhere in your periphery.
Not
It's
not to
like,
mention if you knew the maps well enough, you could glance at somebody else and tell exactly where they're at in the map.
Or if you manage to have your particular Halo character always colored yellow, and then all of a sudden you get a flash of yellow on somebody else's screen in your periphery, then you know, oh shit, I'm about to get attacked.
well, the biggest ones were again the same 2 that would accuse of screen watching because their favorite thing to do was snipe. They like to find a little hidey hole and snipe everybody from it. So
God,
whenever
Simbu,
you
I
actually
totally
ran
forgot about
across
that.
them, found them, and either stickied them or were able to execute them, it was an immediate, "You cheater, you're screen watching, you were watching my screen." No, I wasn't.
Oh, the 007 thing reminded me of the no odd job rule, but yeah, the screen watch.
Again, I was looking at the no odd job rule, but I'm like, you know what? Let's encompass something different because everyone talks about the no odd job rule. Like,
Yeah, because
let's go with let's
this the
go with
screen
screen
watching.
watching.
And that's such a good one. And
Yes.
like 007 was just ran awful when it was four players. Like that's something a lot of people don't like think, or when you think back on it, it went from like, a smooth 30 frames per second to maybe like 8, 7 when you got the 4 people all going. And like you didn't get that with Halo. Halo Halo 2,
No.
especially Halo 3 when you had the multi-screen, the four people ran as smooth as could be. So it would be no surprise that like, okay, if all of a sudden, let's just say, oh, I don't know, mobster is on a hill and you see the big sniper rifle pointing out from it. Yeah, I'm going to go up on the hill, or if I'm somebody who's really good at Halo, oh, say a Simbu, and can throw it at the proper arc and angle to be able to tag mobster. Yeah, definitely contentious.
Or Fox and I, for some reason, always having our right trigger fingers in sync whenever we had swords.
Gosh,
There wasn't arguments, but it's like, Fox, will you just die already?
dude, I didn't care. I knew you were like the best at the game, so it's like the fact that we would either fight to a draw or we would just fight the constant butting heads with the swords to where maybe somebody came in there with a grenade to
Till
finish
we
both
got
of us off.
grenaded.
Like I didn't care. I didn't die. Like, or I took you with me. So I'm like, hey, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
Just let it go into the good night. Just go.
Like I was happy with my fourth place playing style at Halo. I would say I was a good fourth best at that in our Halo group. Fourth best. I'll take that. Uh, let's move on to the next individual, and this one and the next two I knew within days of each other. This particular individual was one of the individuals that I saw walk in on my first day at work back at good old Micro Center in our local suburbs. And Astrimedes, whom I've met when I was 18. What is your first contentious game and example?
I would say the first one that comes to mind to me is WWF WrestleMania on the NES. My younger brother and I would play. I was probably 10, 11 years old, something like that when we were playing this. And one time, and for some reason, it would just really set him off. And I, being the asshole older brother that I certainly was, would kind of encourage it and try to amp him up. And one time he got so mad that he literally wrapped the controller cord around my neck and tried to choke me with it,
Ooh,
Okay.
which was an excuse to beat him up, which was, of course, the ultimate reason why I would amp him up.
yeah, yikes.
Wow.
You guys were living
That's-
WrestleMania right there.
It took such a dark turn that it didn't expect.
I wasn't a nice older brother. I never seriously hurt him. I just made him cry. I stopped when he cried. My brother could probably beat my ass now. I not even probably. So to be fair to him.
Yeah, that's usually how it is, the
Yep.
youngest brother being able to beat the ass of the older or oldest brother. That's usually how it is.
Usually.
I have a feeling Fox is going to possibly be black and blue for one of these future podcasts.
Hey, I'm safe. I'll at least have a day and a half window for said older brother to come to my house and beat me up that way.
So he just shows up unexpectedly on your doorstep.
Well, if he does, I'm going to be welcoming him for open arms, accepting my beatings, and allowing him to dry rags over my back. Um,
He'll send a package, and when you open it, it's like a boxing glove that punches you in the face.
it's a picture of him like this.
Yeah.
Just the ingredients for shepherd's pie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's a good one.
Ugh. Okay, payback received. That made me gag. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
You're
Jamie Owls.
welcome.
Oh, Jamie Owls. On that boxing glove, you can't forget on the front of the fist, it's got to say blurf.
Oh, yeah.
Or
I'm trying not to gag here. My eyes are tearing up. Oh, that hit the right spot. Hopefully, if my brother's listening to this after the fact, thank your wife for that. Oh, um, Spartacus, since I also met you when I was 18 at Micro Center, what is your contentious game and experience?
Well, I don't think it'll be any surprise to anyone here, but World of Warcraft is probably my number one. Uh, I think we just lost Inferno, didn't we?
No,
Anyways, I'm gonna
Nope,
keep
I'm
Yeah.
here.
going.
I'm here.
Uh, so while it is, a very fun and probably one of my most favorite games over the years, um, sometimes people get a little annoyed when they either don't get invited to raids, or more specifically, when a certain piece of loot drops that somebody else wins or is awarded and they didn't get it, and or think that person deserved it. I have seen some crazy drama and fights from that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can
So,
imagine.
oh yeah, I mean, using a specific example for myself, like I seriously am not mad about this, but I bring it up all the time just because I know it bugs the person that did it. Uh, we were we were playing World of Warcraft Classic. I was playing an enhancement shaman. He was playing a warrior. These shoulders that have plus to hit, they're kind of rare. He won them over me, put them in his bank for future use when I could have used them right then. And like, I don't care about digital, number pixels gear. It doesn't really bother me. But to this day, like even last week, we brought it up. Oh yeah, Spaz, are you gonna steal his shoulders again? And it he has such a reaction to it, like, oh my God. It's just so fun to do that. But I've seen some actual real drama from that kind of thing before, and it is crazy.
Oh my gosh. Gosh, I can only imagine how that is. Oh
Oh
God.
yeah, and I've been playing the game for 20 years. I have been either an officer or raid leader for in almost every guild I've ever been in. And so when you're making those decisions too, like the one time we had loot council, which I'm never a fan of, where, a certain group of individuals decides who gets what loot, there's always some kind of drama in that at some point during the raid tier. And it can be crazy with the way some people get so angry about those things.
Guys, I believe it, man. Oh, poor Hardicus.
It is what it is. I mean, you just gotta
He chose
remind,
this life.
yeah, I chose this life. But I just try to remind people, like, it's just a game. It'll drop again. I know it's annoying that you didn't win this time or get picked, but like there are reasons sometimes some of these things happen. Sometimes it's just straight up random number generator screwing you over.
Ugh. That part is not fun. Just especially the idea that you got somebody like ganking your stuff and you could use it, but no, I'm just gonna store it,
And that's the part I tease them about all the time. Like, again, I really don't care about it, but it's like I will tease them like, oh yeah, it reminds me of the time you stole my shoulders and put them in your bank for 9 months.
Gosh,
It's good. It's all good fun.
it's all good.
That's how baby shoulders are born.
Pretty
Yes,
much.
you put them in the bank for 9 months. Um, let's finish our first round with the person that I've known the least amount of time, and it's crazy to think because I've known her for 14 years and I'm married to her. Jamie Owls, what is your first game and example?
Um, honestly, I don't have a whole lot, but the only thing that comes to mind, and I told you the story before, when I was little, I probably around the 5 or 6 age range that we had the Super Nintendo and Super Mario World around that time was, popular, and my mom got into that game. I remember she used to play it and we would watch her, and I remember one particular day I was downstairs. Growing up in the basement, that's where we had like a TV on one side, and then closer to the stairs where you go up was where we had a video game set up. It was kind of like a bar area at one point where my dad just, placed a small TV and that's where we set up the consoles and with high top chairs, two high top chairs. And so the one day when she was playing, the phone was ringing and she went upstairs to answer it and she had the game on pause. And so I sat in a chair and unpaused the game and started playing. Well, she heard the music playing, and if Satan could scream, that's what I thought was happening because my mom shouted so loud to not touch her game, her level that she's playing, that I went hiding because I mean, my mom was never mean, but that day, like, oh, I gotta run away because I don't know what she was gonna do. Like, I've never seen so mad that I was trying to play her game. And going back to what Stormrose was talking about with Animal Crossing, there was actually a memory that just unlocked that I forgot completely until she kind of mentioned it. Um, Back in the late aughts on Facebook, there used to be a game on there. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like some sort of farming game.
Farmville, I
Farmville.
bet.
Farmville.
Farmville.
Yeah, yeah. So this one friend of mine I used to hang out a lot, she got really into it. And of course, this was the time before smartphones to where we had, the apps on our phone. You just go on anytime you want. But what she used to do is that she would not only if we made plans, but she would cancel so she could harvest her crops. And it used to piss me off so much because there was one time where she was supposed to pick me up and she was halfway to my house, but then she turned around to go back because she just remembered she had to like harvest her crops or they all died. And so she just
Oh.
delayed my time even more. It's just she got so obsessed with the game to where like we couldn't really do much together because she was just always has to like make sure she gets all her apples or oranges, whatever it was. It's just I don't know, it ticked me off so much and I'm glad that that thing's over and gone.
Yeah, now it's all on the palm of your hands, and
Yeah.
people can be present physically but away mentally and just do all that stuff right then and there.
The games
Uh,
are tuned to be even more addicting now.
yes,
Yeah.
You-
man, it's funny. I definitely remember Farm. I never got into Farmville myself. It was the buying friends thing or something like that in the Facebook, and I remember Mobster and I would constantly like up the ante on the dollars for I think it was Astrimedes when he was on there at the one point, and like Astrimedes sold for like $1,500, whereas everybody else was like $8, $9, $10. No, Astrimedes was
I
like,
forgot about that game.
yeah, he was like $1,500, and I think there was a Tetris on Facebook that I really got into because I'm a nerd and I like Tetris.
It
So
was an interesting time with weird little games, and a lot of the modern dark patterns were emerging in those games.
yeah, I like look at the top 8 spaces right there. Whatever that signifies. Um, so let's go ahead and do another round. I actually only have one more entry, and time-wise, let's just each do one more. If you want to sneak an additional one with your last entry, feel free. And I'm going to go with the old standard Smash Brothers. Not with anybody else, but I'm pointing the finger at myself. You notice the pattern with mine? Mine are all about me and my own brattiness. This one though was one of the times where I lost my temper at a buddy back when we were doing the OG Nintendo 64 version at my house, and I forget what it was that it was just rubbed me the wrong way. I think it was a thing where we were arguing about something, and this person was denying that I was doing this move or something, and it got heated enough to where like, all right, get out. if you're not going to listen to me, we're done. Get out. That was it. And then immediately after he had left, I immediately regretted doing that. And then, of course, apologized to my buddy as soon as I saw him the next day. Thankfully, he accepted my apology, and we got past that pretty quickly. But it was one of those things where, like, I lost my temper. It doesn't happen where I lose my temper and I take it out on other individuals. Not saying I don't lose my temper. I don't saying I'm not saying I don't lose my temper often, because I do. I have a bit of an
I've seen
anger
the
thing.
wall.
Yes. I do have a bit of a temper, but this is one of the few times where I really directed it towards somebody. And it's one of those things where it's like, I knew it was my fault. And from then on out, anytime that I get mad at a game, I realize, okay, if I fail at a game, only one person to blame, and that's the only one person I can control. That's myself.
The developer.
So, yes. You say hamburger helper? What did you say?
The developer, the one
Oh.
person you could blame.
And hamburger helper, because if you eat too much of it, you have to run to the bathroom, and it's a whole nother kind of mad.
And
Right,
here
I
I thought you were
absolutely
going to
blame-
bring.
And that glove is a
I
tease.
absolutely blame Astrimedes for every single time I fail at a game.
Right?
I accept your blame on behalf of all developers.
Yeah, I mean, you are our avatar for all developers, so accept your blame, sir. Accept it. Jason, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna bring up the fact that me and my brother fight a lot with Smash Brothers. I
Oh,
mean, as we talked in the text before, it could be all eight of us playing at once, and my brother thinks I solo him out and only go after him, even though there's 6 other people on the screen
So-
at once.
Is this your entry?
No. I was just adding
Doesn't
it
count.
to yours.
Because
But-
you are next.
Yes, and I'm going to bring up a little bit more fighting games actually, but we're going to rewind it a little bit more before the first Smash Brothers to the original fighting game. Well, one of the original main fighting games, Mortal Kombat. You start fighting, and there was more than just one, but the main popular one was low sweep, low sweep, low sweep, low sweep, and you just win the game. And then once you get it going, you can't stop them, and that brought a lot of fights in real life, accusing each other of cheating. And it's like, but it's not cheating. You can do it, but you just literally lock somebody in with one move and just annihilate them.
Oh my gosh. I like how they mentioned that in the newest of the Mortal Kombat
Yes, the
movies.
reference.
And it was a thing where I remember I did the same to my older brother, who was a big Mortal Kombat 2 player, especially in the arcades. And he'd be like, "Oh, all you can do is just do the
Yep.
back low kick sweep. That's all you can do." And I'm like, it works.
Yes, it did.
It's beating you. You're
And it
doing
started fights all over the place.
Yeah, and back to Smash Brothers, I always laugh at the fact that uh, there are 8 of us, and then the moment that you attack your brother, it's like, why aren't you attacking Fox?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think one of the last times when months and months ago when we all were playing Smash Brothers together, I remember he even yelled at Astrimedes when it was down to Astrimedes, myself, and him, and he's like, you should probably be go after Fox. And Astrimedes like, I attack everybody.
Yep. Yeah, I don't go after solo people very often.
Oh, too funny.
But yep, so we play off the fighting game and we roll into Mortal Kombat for mine.
Simbu, do you have another game and example? You were shaking your head. No.
Isn't it Storm before me?
Oh, yes. Yes, you are correct. Storm. I think I'm afraid to call on you because of the whole shepherd's pie thing. I think that's what
Well, if Simbu wanted to go, it's fine. I
No,
don't care.
go ahead. Just let's avoid the Freudian shepherd's pie here.
Because, God, I love Mobster. Mobster has been the with Fortnite some of like subject of but a lot of my frustration and has been witness to one of the most frustrating nights I ever had on that game where I told a friend to go fuck themselves basically and stop telling me how to play. I've been playing the game since a year since it came out
Don't forget to
and
slide.
yeah, yeah, telling me how to run game connect mechanics and you know, you can't
Don't
snipe
push.
all the time. Yes. I made the mistake of pushing the last team that was alive while they're trying to revive. It's 3 against 2. They're going to revive and it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go run up on them. Because if I would have had Simbu with me, he would have already been
Yep.
there and I would have been
Mhm.
following him. I expected this team to react the same way. He's reviving someone. Let's go get them. Nope. Where are you going? Why are you going? There's the reviving. Guess what? I've now got shot and killed because you didn't follow me. You stayed up there and tried to snipe them instead of listening to me. So a lot of back forth about what guns they should have, even though I said I didn't have a long range and they would loot everything and leave nothing and just share amongst one another. So that night was it for me and that particular individual to ever play again
Oh,
together.
and let's not forget that particular individual would loot bodies that you killed while you were down versus reviving you.
Yep. Yep. So that's
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and Fortnite has been the one of the worst things that I ever ran into was with Fortnite, and it was the one of the last games I ever played public and like auto-filled. Um, my name was a character's name from Star Trek. It was ZL, and she's a someone's daughter from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She was like an adopted daughter of, her original family doesn't want her and she got adopted. No wonder I like this particular character. Anyway, they were asking me what kind of name that was and then insinuated that it was an ethnic name and I should be back in cotton fields. So that was a lovely experience on Fortnite that trumps anything else to do with, me telling someone to go fuck themselves and don't tell me how to play.
Mhm.
So,
Great
yeah.
for online multiplayer.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I hate to say it, but uh, that's relatively tame compared to stuff like Call of Duty,
Oh God.
especially given your gender. Soon as they
Yep.
would hear your voice, it would be over. And
Yep. And it's horrible. I hate that it's like that and eventually maybe it won't be. Maybe. But there's power in sitting behind a screen and with a microphone, you get balls of steel when you're not face to face with a person. So
yep. That's a good one, and I'm glad that Simbu reminded me to call on you and not get over my shepherd's pie aversion. So thank you, Simbu.
The
Uh,
only way it's going to change Storm is if you remember to slide.
I know. I know. God. God.
and
And
and unmute yourself.
yes, unmute
Yes.
myself and my expecting other team members to push with me, because I'm used to team members that do the pushing and I'm
Yeah, you said
usually
doo doo.
following. Yeah, do.
Do
So
do.
oh, but there you go. And watching your brother, my lovely husband, playing Fortnite more recently has never been more frustrating. And I did tell him that he was frustrating the crap out of me because it's like you're making so much sound. We're good. Needless sound in solo mode. It's like why? Why? I don't know. Oh,
Because
and
he's
he's
not
like,
sliding
good.
properly.
Exactly. He doesn't know how to slide, so watching him slide. Oh,
Exactly. He should have slid. He should be sliding.
yes, he should.
The whole problem. He's not sliding.
Yeah, he's not. And trying to watch him mantle. Oh my God, it's like I almost offered, give me the controller and let me do it. Just which is a change, because I'm not used to being the expert. I'm air quoting. But, I'm fairly good at this Fortnite bullcrap and have played a lot. So watching him do the little things like, oh man. Yeah. It was a nice
Oh, God.
change. Usually it's somebody else here, do this for me, but no, I almost did it for him. But he was like, good, ha ha ha. Oh, anyway, carry on.
Simbu, what is your next game and example?
Well, it doesn't really cause any fights. However, it makes the person who does it get very angry at everybody else. And of course, I'm talking about Storm and the mute button. No, I'm just, I use that as an example because it's accidentally muting yourself or forgetting that you're muted. So like I say, I mute for the show here when I'm not, and I start talking. It's like, why is nobody responding to me? But I can see you guys, and I can see you're not responding to me. But on a headset, you can't. So I could be carrying on a conversation with Fox on the headset, and Storm is, yeah, and then you can almost feel it in her voice when she comes back. She is so angry. She feels like so angry, and she's like, "Shit, I was muted." But I have been there before, and in the earlier settings of Xbox 360 and things like that, where you had the dongle on the
Yes.
wire, and depending on the type of headset you had, the dongle was a very big one, like on a 360 standard. It was that big flat piece, or it was a tiny, tiny little switch on it, or a button even. So I will say that accidental mutations cause a lot of not quote fighting or arguing, but same with, as Fox said, with like his Smash Brothers example. You kind of get to that point where you get so pissed off and you're so angry, like you're not listening to me, and it's like, oops.
Also a design flaw with remote work meetings, the game.
Astrimedes, you're
Yes.
muted.
Are you muted? Hello?
And every time
Or
they forget how to unmute or mute themselves.
yeah, or when people call a meeting and they don't mute themselves and they're driving in their car.
You get all that fun.
Sorry, guys, I'm in my car.
You
You like fries with that?
Oh, Astrimedes, how about you? What is your next game and example?
My last example was when I was probably around 12, 13 or so. A friend of ours that was a couple years younger than that, who this was a pretty regular occurrence. We were playing ice hockey on NES, and he was so angry he stomped on the controller cord, violently yanked the controller up, trying to rip it off the cord. Couldn't quite do that, got really mad, smashed the controller into the ground, pulled the game out, screamed at it, threw it against the wall, and I think the game survived all that while the controller didn't.
Wow.
And they kept a bunch of controllers in the house because this was a regular thing that he did when he flipped out. It was almost a regular thing hanging out with this kid at the time, where it was like, we're gonna play something and he might flip out and break some stuff, and we'll probably leave because we don't want to be around for whatever's gonna happen after that at his house. So there's that one. And then I'll just very briefly just mention Sonic 2, being Tails sucks. That's for the little brother.
Yeah, agreed. As the little brother that had to play as Tails.
The Sonic 2 kind of refers back to my Contra's
Very
deal.
similar. Yep.
Whoever was Sonic left Tails in the dust.
But Tails was invulnerable and couldn't die, so it wasn't as bad.
True.
You're just pretty much superfluous. You didn't really need. You were essentially the
You
bitch
couldn't
that had
die, but
to-
you didn't matter.
Yeah, you would have to finish off Dr. Robotnik because, Sonic could die and Tails can't. So, you're the boss bitch. But yeah, the stage, the fun part, you really couldn't do because Sonic would leave poor Tails in the frickin' dust.
Yes.
Gotta love being the little brother. Thanks, Astrimedes.
So can we just go ahead and use Sonic Adventures then? 4-player Sonic?
Yeah, so Sonic Superstars, although that one is even worse because it just randomly picks whoever is going to be the lead character. So that's pretty awful. Yeah. And you can't fix a certain character to be the lead character. It always changes. Oh, Astrimedes, you had quite a good example. Hardicus, are you going to beat Astrimedes?
I've got two of them here for you. I'll do the other ones real quick. So first one is fighting games, specifically Smash Brothers and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So it's more when you're just playing against somebody who is just freaking unbeatable, like Inferno Fox in Smash Brothers and myself in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Being the other person is so annoying when you can't hit the person. No matter what you do, you'll never beat them. So that's kind of an annoyance thing, but that's a personal thing. So the actual game that has caused a lot of drama is Dokapon Kingdom. And for those who don't know, it is a kind of Mario Party-esque game where it's like a board game mixed with mini games and RPG elements. So I actually outsourced a couple of quotes from my friends who played this. So I'm just going to go over their quotes real quick. So I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to use their handles here. So Banth, who is the best one at this game, says, "We had about 30 saves, all of which I was well in the lead. And every time we went to play again, they would want to start a new game. When we first started playing, we agreed that whenever we fought, we would never destroy each other's weapons. After months of sticking to this, Pedingus wins a fight against me and looks over with a stupid grin on his face and destroys my weapon early on in the game." So when you have people not following the rules, that's or self-imposed rules, that's super annoying. And the other quote I have is from Punisher here. He says, "I did not play as much as the rest of you. I just remember hating that game, not wanting to play it, but doing so because you all wanted to play. Getting absolutely wrecked anytime you start to get ahead and continually getting beat down after that, and then being annoyed and never wanting to play the game ever again." So yeah, Dokapon Kingdom has caused a few fights in one of my friend groups and has caused some bitterness even years later.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Oh, um, Jamie Owls, do you have any other additional games and examples to share?
Uh, honestly, I don't. And I realized in my last video I mentioned two incidences, but not really. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I remember a couple years ago you had the guys over for a Smash Brothers night, and I'm not gonna mention a name, but one particular person was moody, even though he got second place. No, you can put your hand down, it's not you. Um, they won second place, and I just yelled out, smile. And then, if looks could kill, this particular person looked at me
I remember this.
in a way that I've never seen. And I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. And so it really took me back, like, wow, he did that in my household.
Is this
Yeah,
person mobster?
and
You just said the name, and I said I
this
was going to
was
mention.
this
I was
was
just asking if it was him. I didn't know.
this
It
was the Smash Brothers tournament when the game first came out, and I had like 16 or 20 people over and a big grand tournament. And this individual, whom we're not going to say names, got second place and a prize. I gave like $50 and $25 gift cards as prizes for the winners of these tournaments. And this individual was still mad. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, funny that I get that look normally whenever I win at Smash Brothers. It's interesting to see that projected on someone else.
I'm guessing there was some bullshit involved.
Oh, I'm sure there
Is that
was.
the tournament where I beat a child and screamed I beat a kid after I won the round?
I think so.
Okay, that was my crowning achievement.
Yes, this individual's favorite thing to scream out is bullshit, and it does not matter what game they are playing.
Yep.
Yep.
Us Fortniters can attest.
Yes. I think a couple honorable mentions I thought of was like Chippendale Rescue Rangers for the NES. Playing that with older brothers is really fun because as the younger brother, you can be annoying and pesty, and as Dale, because of course, player two, you can pick up player one. You can literally pick up your little chipmunk friend and throw him off the ledge. Yeah, that's a lot of fun to do. And then Among Us. Now, a lot of us in the Inferno caster didn't really get into Among Us a lot when that really blew up in 2020, at least to my knowledge. My experience with trying to do that, it was fun, but like one of the things is if you are, my recommendation is if you are on the spectrum in any sort of way, well, be it ASD, ADHD, or anything like that, only play with other individuals on the spectrum. Do not play with individuals whom are neurotypical, because the differences of individuals who are neurotypical versus neurodiverse make it not a really good experience. Don't play Among Us as a neurodiverse individual with neurotypical people, because some of the ticks, some of the tells, some of the things that a neurodiverse individual will do doesn't jive well with Among Us, especially when it gets to the accusatory rounds. Neurotypical individuals are very bad at reading neurodiverse individuals as to whether or not they are lying, or more importantly, telling the truth.
Yeah, I can see Among Us causing lots of fights.
Almost kind of glad that we didn't really get into that as much. I'm maybe a little bit glad on that.
Can I just say Mario Kart?
You may, and when you're in first place and you get hit by a blue shell, then a red shell, then a blue shell, and three more red shells, and then somebody barreling through with a bullet bill and then a star. Yeah, going from first to 12th, especially if you're a mobster. Well, if you're a mobster, it's hilarious for the rest of us. And if you are the person that's in first place, yeah, that's not fun. And we're making some fun little jibs at poor mobster, but it's only because we love him so much.
So the takeaway is we should all stop playing fighting games.
Yes.
Or games with mobsters.
No, never that.
Yet.
So as we wrap things up here, just again, a huge shout out to the fantastic cast and crew, as well as you, our wonderful audience. If you're listening to this before Thanksgiving, we hope that you have a fantastic holiday. If it's after, have a great set of holiday or holidays, whatever, whomever you celebrate. Parting shots. Any parting shots, my friends?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, what you got, Hardigan?
So for that crazy aunt or uncle that you fight with at Thanksgiving, just remember, that's money you saved at Christmas presents. Now you don't have to buy them shit.
And Jason the 13th, I'm still pissed at you that you put the black vice on me in Magic the Gathering.
I'm glad you clarified Magic the Gathering.
I've got worse decks to play against you if you were to get back into it now.
Oh, see, the reason why I bring up the Black Vice card is because was it the Black Vice or was the Vice? That was the card. That was the first time. That was the first game I ever played of Magic. It was out in front of my parents' house on the sidewalk because they were having the yard sale.
Mm-hmm.
Still
Storm,
hold a grudge.
dare I ask, do you have any non-shepherd's pie related parting shots?
It will say that most of the time when I mute myself, if you hear the annoyance, it's never you guys that you didn't hear me. It's more that I have to repeat myself because that's just wasted time. That's like that. This sucks that I now have to repeat myself. And I'm thinking about Jamie Al's mom being mad, knowing her sweet little mother, and her screaming about the video game makes me giggle. But yeah, I
And
got
Storm,
yeah.
just know that you are not the only one who does it because there are memes on the internet about the exact same thing.
Yep.
So there are plenty of people out there who accidentally might mute themselves and then realize it after the fact.
Oh yeah. It happens so much. So, on my gravestone or something on the urn, please don't bury me. Um, yeah, it's gonna say muted self or some bullcrap.
Nope, we're gonna put don't forget to slide.
Yeah,
That's
don't
okay.
forget to slide.
That's
It
Forgot
helped
to
if you
slide.
slide. It helped if you slide. But get mad at me because I died trying to push two people that were down. God.
Technically,
Anyway.
one person because the other one was
Yes.
down.
See? Would have been an easy win, but no, let's snipe from across the mountain because God forbid we rush in.
and apparently badly too. If like
Yes.
two people are missing from the mountain and you're in there pushing, like, oh gosh.
Yep.
Uh, Alrighty, so that is our contentious games. Thank you so much for joining us. No other parting shots. We hope you have a great day.